New York City. It's Boston Celtics basketball. And tonight, the Celtics take on their Atlantic Division rivals, the New York Knicks. Hello again, everybody. Mike Crispino along with Bob Cousy. Fourth meeting between these two teams. Celtics lead the series 2-1 in a memorable night back in December where the Celtics suffered their worst defeat in a long, long time, losing by 32 points. But these teams seem to be going in opposite directions right now. Celtics on a 4-game winning streak, trying to win 5 in a row for the first time this year. The Knicks have lost 5 in a row. That could work against the Celtics tonight.
Yeah, it could. The other side of the coin, Michael, is that it's a meaningful game, believe it or not, for both teams. I know too often we say that and trying to hype a game, but in effect, I think if the Celtics win tonight, it could guarantee they're finishing 4th in the conference, which would give them the home court advantage against probably New York in the first round. And I think they could get by the first round that way. Conversely, the Knicks need this not only to break their slide, but also to try to beat the Celtics out in the conference race.
The Knicks, of course, going without Charles Oakley, who has a broken bone in his left hand. He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. Celtics' Larry Bird is down a little bit with the flu, but told us that he is feeling fairly good and he hopes to play tonight. Well, let's hope he does. And we'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening tap after these messages. Garden, where the natives, Coos, are mighty restless lately. As you mentioned in talking with Trent Tucker, a lot of folks thought this Knicks team would be challenging for the NBA title. Right now, they are struggling and hanging on to 3rd place in the Atlantic Division.
It's hard to tell, obviously, without seeing them, and speculate as to why they're going so bad. And Trent Tucker couldn't shed that much light on it either. The speculation has been, you touched on it, I think, in our conversation, with the fact of, the change in coaching styles, that they went from the helter-skelter Rick Pitino style, up-tempo, shoot the three-pointer at every provocation, don't necessarily look inside, but play the intensive defense, to the structured focus on the half court and go to Patrick. This has had a very positive effect on Patrick's averages and numbers, obviously, but it's put a lot of pressure, I guess, on the outside shooters. Oakley being out is going to hurt their up-tempo game, and I think that's what's going to hurt in terms of breaking out of this slump as quickly as they'd like.
Well, the Knicks have lost 11 of 17, and for Knicks fans, you have to wonder what is going on against these expansion ball clubs. They lost to all 4 of the recent expansions during this bad streak. So when you're going bad, you like to see the expansions because you figure you've got a good chance to get back in a positive frame of mind. But the Knicks have not been able to do that against the likes of Charlotte. Last night, they lost by 13.
Yeah, normally that indicates a lack of defensive intensity or at least sustained defense, because even if your offense is going bad against the expansion teams, if you dig in defensively, you can usually grab a W, So I'll tell you what, we walked in here, as you mentioned, and Stu Jackson had these guys on the floor like 5 minutes before they were supposed to go in the locker room and dress. Gene Wilder, I'm told, is the gentleman in the back row there.
And Mary Stuart Masterson is a co-star in a new movie.
Yeah, they're doing a movie that obviously has some connection with Madison Square Garden or the Knickerbockers. But in any event, I don't know how serious the players are, but I'll tell you what, the pressure is mounted on the coach, and he wants it very desperately tonight. And I got to think that the percentages in that sense are going to work against the Celtics. They don't figure to lose 4. How many is it at home?
6 would be 6 if they lost.
6 in a row at home.
Or 4 in a row, that's right. 4 in a row at home. All right, we're ready for the national anthem with Helen Hudson.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose brought bright and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Hudson. Thank you, Helen.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Madison Terrain Garden, the world's most famous arena.
Helen Hudson in the rendition of the national anthem. Curiously enough, when the Knicks took the court for the first time tonight, Cruz, some boos in the crowd when they first hit the floor, which, as a member of the home team, has got to affect you somewhat.
Well, they're pretty sophisticated here in New York, but, you know, like fans everywhere, they're mercurial in terms of, you know, they want to win, or they want a team that they feel capable of playing as well as they can, and I'm not sure they feel that that's what the Knickerbockers are giving them at this moment. So Mark Jackson, especially the much maligned point guard, has been the object of their affection, or their attention,
or their derision at this point. Kevin McHale will start for Chris Ford. As you see him, Jimmy Rogers back home attending the funeral of his father. And we send our sentiments and condolences out to Jimmy and the rest of his family, Donna Rogers, and we will see him again in Indianapolis on Tuesday night. You see Larry Bird on the elevator today. Bird's voice was almost completely gone. I don't know how he's going to shout out any instructions defensively to his mates. They're not going to be able to hear him, but he is on the floor, and sometimes, Coos, I would think a little bit of an illness slows you down, but loosens you up, too. Can help.
I'll tell you, it depends. Bird is so competitive. You know, these guys, when they reach this level, acclimate themselves to responding to additional challenges other than just winning and losing the game. And you tell a guy that he's hurting and he's not supposed to get out and play well, a guy like Bird especially, it's just could very well create a huge game for him.
There's Stu Jackson, and a look at the Celtics lineup. Bird, McHale, and Parish. Dennis Johnson and Reggie Lewis in the backcourt. Johnny Newman. Kenny Walker will start in place of Charles Oakley, who we told you will be out at least 6 to 8 weeks, which could mean the rest of the season should the Knicks be unable to get by the first round of these playoffs. He has a broken bone in his left hand, and Kenny Walker will start in his place. Last night against Charlotte, Patrick Ewing got his 32, but the Hornets effectively shut down the outside shooting of this New York team. The guards shot 5 of 29, which has to be of concern to Stu Jackson. He must think that the Celtics will try to do the same thing against Ewing tonight.
Well, I think that's one of the keys, obviously, and I think Chris Ford agrees. The officials tonight, Jess Kersey, veteran official, Ken Maurer, and Bob Delaney. I think Chris agrees. He doesn't want Patrick to have the big game. As long as he's somewhat contained, I think they'd be more than happy to give him something in the 20s and then put the pressure on the outside people. The key for the Knicks is going to be running some kind of an up-tempo game to supplement this half-court offense that, other than Patrick, has not been that effective this year.
So the Celtics try to do something they have not done all year long, and that is win 5 in a row. The opening tap controlled by Mark Jackson, and immediately to the hoop, Johnny Newman, the block and a foul on Robert Parish.
Celtics foul charged to Robert Parish.
So aggressively off the bat, Johnny Newman goes to the hoop and draws the foul on the Chief.
Johnny Newman at the line.
You mentioned, Kuz, in talking before the ballgame, the matchups may be a little bit of a problem for the Celtics tonight with that front court of Kenny Walker and Johnny Newman.
Yeah, but they present the same problem in reverse. Yes, Newman has got a little bit too much speed for Bird, as he just demonstrated there by blowing by him, but you know, he's not going to do that great a job guarding Bird, and with Oakley out, they literally don't have anyone to guard McHale at all.
Stoppage in play here as Bob Delaney goes over to the scorer's table. This copyright program presented by the authority of the NBA and the Boston Celtics and intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the NBA, the Boston Celtics, and WLBI-TV is prohibited. Here's Bird on the up fake, goes baseline, puts it up front of the rim, rebound by Ewing. Jackson on the run.
This team is a pretty good rebounding team. They just about matched the Celtics. Celtics with a little bit of an advantage.
Ewing, good up fake by Ewing. Got Robert off his feet, and he hits it. It's 3-0 Knicks.
That time they were a little slow sending down any help to Parish.
Dennis high. Nice pass to Robert Parish.
I'll tell you, Dennis has just been playing outstanding basketball in the last month or so. He really has been touching most bases and getting the ball up floor much quicker.
Excellent defense by Parish, but hitting for 2 over him is Patrick Ewing. And that's it's amazing to watch 7-footers work like that, play like little men. Bird to Parish, picked off by Ewing. Newman has it. 3-on-2. Wilkins.
Lazy pass that time is picked up by Ewing. He's normally guarding the basket, but he's got that kind of mobility and speed and quickness to go to 15 or 20 feet if necessary.
Full court pressure right in front of us. The block by Walker. Ewing outlet to Jackson. 3-on-1. And a foul by Dennis Johnson, and a good foul by DJ. As Mark Jackson ended up in the broadcast area here.
The second foul is short to Dennis Johnson.
Let's take a look at it.
That's his first and the team's
It is. The Knickerbocker defense starts off very effective and intensive, as you can see, with a lot of pressure on the ball. DJ with a good foul there. They had a 3-on-1 breakaway, so it would have been a sure 2 for Walker. This way he has to work for it.
In the last 3 games, the Celtics have not trailed at all in the 3 victories over New Jersey, Cleveland, and Atlanta, and they've gotten off to some excellent starts. Tonight, the Knicks are getting off to a good start, and they lead 9-2 with 10:22 remaining here in the first quarter. Reggie Lewis breaks through some pressure here, and a foul called.
Good move on the part of Stu Jackson, sending him full court. If you're going to try to get people out of a funk, you're better off, frankly, doing it with defense, extended defensive pressure, than you are with offense.
Gale in the corner, double teamed, looks way out to Dennis. Little touch pass to Larry. Got it. Bird has been red hot lately.
Celtics perhaps the best passing team in the league, so the tapping pressure will have to. Jackson from outside.
Stuck that with confidence. He has not been shooting well, only 44% on the season, but the Knicks are up 11-4 thanks to his bucket. Double team, Reggie cuts on Ewing, and it goes.
Nice job, Ewing. A little slow on the rotation behind the corner trap on Bird. That's what I was starting to say a moment ago. Celtics have, in total numbers, more assists than any team in the league. So they're a good passing team, and if you're going to trap, you better make sure you put that ball under intensive pressure so he can't select his target, especially if that man under pressure happens to be Larry Bird.
Reggie Lewis completes the 3-point play. Reggie had 26 against Cleveland earlier in the week. Loves that run and gun style. Here's Jackson's jumper, air. Rebound by Ewing. Good hustle. Got it back. Bounces to Wilkins. Corner jump. No. Rebound again, Ewing.
Ewing is everywhere. Very active on both backboards.
Set it up again. Go down to Ewing. Wants to go on Robert. Good defense. Over him for 2.
Sandbeck has really developed some back-to-the-basket moves, hasn't he? The first couple of years, you were saying to yourself, man, he's never going to be much of an offensive threat. But boy, he's changed all that.
Reggie knocks it down after Jackson took a chance on stealing it, and he has 5. Ewing has scored 20-plus points 26 times in a row for his team. Newman misses in the rebound. Reggie Lewis. Celtics can cut it to 2. It's 13-9 New York. Down to Robert, wants to go on Ewing. Turnaround, yes. Parish has 4. Celtics back within 2. They were down by as many as 7 early. Robert using everything he can on Ewing. Slapped it away. Here's Walker now in the paint, in trouble over Kevin.
McHale had a pretty well bottled up there. There wasn't a lot for Walker to do other than try to get fouled, and he did that successful. That's a tough matchup for Walker. He can take Kevin outside, obviously, and create some outside offense for himself, but if he tries to take him inside, he's going to have his hands full with McHale.
Walker has started the last 5. Now with Oakley out of the lineup, as you see him on the bench next to Maurice Cheeks with that broken bone. Kenny Walker will have to pick up some of the scoring slack, and I don't know how he can pick up the rebounding slack. Oakley's the best in the league.
Yeah, they're talking about 8 weeks, which will just about bring them the playoffs.
Here's Dennis blowing by the pressure now, working on Newman. Takes it inside, bounces to Reggie, who cuts in the lane over Walker. The miss and the rebound by Ewing, who is clearing the glass beautifully so far. 15-11, the Knicks, 8 minutes left, first quarter here at Madison Square Garden. Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy with you. Ewing goes left side this time. A battle on the boards, and Robert has it. I tell you, he has all the moves.
Yeah, he's shown us the little outside move for the right-hand jumper. That time he took it into the paint. So he not only has them, but he's alternating them properly.
Wow. Jess Kersey called it on Newman. Bird gave him an elbow. Newman responded back and got called for it. That's his first personal.
Bird's probably going to be a little testy tonight, not feeling well.
Wow, Reggie tried to go all the way in a reverse, lost his balance, missed the shot, and now Jackson running 3-on-3. Wilkins corner jump, too.
Wilkins is a shooter, a little bit of a specialist, but he functions well out of that two-guard spot. He goes to the open areas well. He squares off well at the basket and has an excellent touch.
Second round pick back in '85, 47th overall. Bird, long range, no, and Lewis on the offensive board goes right up and got it.
Good job. Reggie continues to play well. I'll tell you, the starting five for the Celtics in the last, 3 or 4 weeks have become about as consistent as they have been all year. All of them doing their job and playing extremely well.
Reggie's doing a better job on the offensive board also. Oh, great drive by Wilkins for the bucket. Strong move inside by Gerald Wilkins, 5th year out of Tennessee Chattanooga. Here's Bird. Oh, he tried to go to Parish. Deflected. Jackson has it. And running, he'll hold it up and set up a half court. 6:30 remaining first quarter. The Knicks by 6. Jackson wants to take Dennis inside. A little floater, and he does.
Celtic defense a little soft at the moment. They're giving up too many easy ones off the dribble. They're going to have to start helping each other out a bit.
8-point lead, biggest of the game. Here's McHale, doubled, looking for somebody. Has Reggie. Takes it right inside. Beautiful move by Lewis.
Oh, wow. Super. 9 points for Reggie in the first quarter here. Didn't settle for the little jumper. It was there off the double down on McHale.
Ewing wants it. Baseline jump, 2. I tell you, he has a number of spots on the court that he can go to. And I think he's been to all of them already here in the first 7 minutes.
Well, we expected to see some early double down by the Celtics on Ewing. And instead, they're letting him get started. Could be something that's going to hurt them as the game progresses.
Bird posting up on Newman now as they isolate him. Tries to push him inside. Double Jackson after him. Dennis has to put it up. Does. Misses. Robert on the board. It's knocked loose. Wilkins has it. Alley-oop. Forget about it.
Well, not too many centers. Leave it at Robert tender range, but beat him down floor. That time Patrick Ewing did. Off the fine lob feed.
The Celtics have taken a regular timeout, and we'll be back to Madison Square Garden for more on the WLBI Celtics Network. From Motown, known as Dr. Detroit, on Boston's movie station WLBI 56.
Here it is. Knickerbockers using their transitional game to complement their half-court game, which has been Patrick Ewing effectively and shooting it at 71%. Celtics not bad at 54. Knicks on a 12-4 run. They've made their last 5 shots from the field.
Knicks are pressuring everywhere. McHale gets the corner jumper and hits it. Kevin's first bucket of the night. Celtics back within 8. Here's Ewing, wants to take it inside. Hits it. I'll tell you what.
They're going to have to give Robert help on Patrick. He's just, having trouble at the moment. Ewing very active and varying his moves, as we pointed out, and he seems to be effective with every one of these using.
Here's Walker and McHale really going at it. Finally got it to him. Here comes Ewing, and he gets called for a foul. I'll tell you, Walker took a shot in the chops from Kevin. Take a look.
And the team scores.
See, Patrick's going to come in here. Here's Walker and McHale wrestling, as you can see, literally for position. You're going to see Patrick come over, but he comes over to the same side as Walker, and McHale turns right into him, picks up the foul.
Kevin with 3 points now. McHale, the only Celtic to play every game this year. He's on 20 different occasions, hit for double figures in both points and rebounds, and had a big night against Atlanta, 27 points, 7 rebounds. He is shooting some excellent free throws this season, his best ever, 92%. If you want a youngster to learn how to shoot a free throw in terms of form, watch McHale. He has really got it going.
He's stroking them nicely. He's getting more height on his free throw. Jackson from outside.
Bird, good defensive position on the boards this time. They rush it down to Reggie. Stops, pops. And a foul call on Gerald Wilkins.
I tell you, Reggie doing a pretty good job of varying his offense, too. Kiki Vandeweghe, who has been inserted into the lineup in the last few weeks, getting some playing time. They bring him along slowly. He's had a history of back spasms and foot tendonitis, things of that nature. Talking to his dad and his mom who were here before the game. His dad was a great one for the Knicks in the old days.
Tendonitis has to be one of the most frustrating types of injuries, because it just lingers on, and basically the only way to get rid of it is to rest. You cannot do much if it attacks you, especially in your feet.
Not easy to do when you're an NBA forward.
Jackson and Dennis Johnson matching up. Now Bird will handle Vandeweghe. McHale switches off. Gerald Wilkins has it, goes on Lewis. A little jumper over him, missed it. Bird has the board. Larry running, looking for Dennis. Dennis wants McHale, can't find him.
Trying to go to Bird.
He's on Vandeweghe. Inside he goes, stops, fade away, 2. Bird has 4. He's been hot over the past 15, 55% from the field, averaging close to 30 points a ball game.
And the Celtics are posting him up much more than in the past. Walker.
Give and go and a beauty, but the Celtic defense in on him to force the miss. And Bird's all alone here, 1-on-4. Now the Celtics catch up. Bird cross court to Reggie, wants to go on Vandeweghe, stops, hits. Whew.
Reggie is on fire.
11 for Lewis.
Vandeweghe should help the Knickerbocker.
Bird steals, ahead to DJ, ahead of the field for the layup.
Boy, Jackson, I'll tell you, it does look lost out there. It looks like a different player.
And the Knicks need a timeout. Celtics back within 1 with 2:45 left in the first quarter. We'll be back to New York with more after this. Is loaded for action in Chisholm on Boston's movie station, WLVI 56.
Joe Kleine in for Parish. Lee Wilkins has replaced Patrick Ewing, so good time to give Robert a blow. We started to say that both Cheeks and Vandeweghe, who takes a bad shot there,
Kevin got a little hand on it.
In theory, at least, help the half-court offense of the Knicks.
Kale turnaround, and he is blocked partially by Kenny Walker. So good defense on both ends of the court here, and the Knicks maintain the 1-point lead. Celtics 11-2 run, however, in the last few moments. Oh, Vandeweghe crossed the lane with a left-handed bank.
That's what Vandeweghe does well. Take it to the basket, off the dribble, finishes not in a physical way, but he normally will create the best opportunity for himself, and of course he hits well from outside.
Reggie posting up. He got blocked by Lee Wilkins. And Gerald Wilkins runs it, bounces it to Cheeks, over Bird, missed it, and the Celtics battling, but Wilkins got the board and missed it. Kleine up there, tipped up 2, 3, 4 times, and Walker got it back. To Vandeweghe for the jump, and the miss. Could have been goaltending. Finally, Dennis Johnson has the ball. Madison Square Garden, New York. McHale lays it up on the end of the break.
Excellent flurry on that offensive board by the Knicks. Doesn't produce anything, and as so often will happen, Celtics respond with a quick hoop on the transition game.
Kleine and Wilkins really working each other over. Vandeweghe goes all the way, missed the layup, and the rebound, Joe Kleine. Woo-hoo! Joe, I don't want to get in the way of his elbows, I'll tell you what. Here's Bird, has Cheeks on him, he'll shoot it and hit it.
The Knicks are working hard, but they're not producing as much. Celtics creating much smoother and more effective offense at the moment.
Maurice Cheeks, who played just 17 minutes last night against Charlotte, went 0 for 4 from the field. Now goes by Dennis Johnson, who strips him. Dennis running now, looking for help. It's 4-on-2 to Bird. Back to McHale. Lays it up and got it.
Beautiful entry pass by Bird. Just waited nicely for that play to develop. Celtics are playing with such poise lately.
Dennis Johnson has done an excellent job of getting the Celtics out and running when they do get the defensive boards, and we saw it against Cleveland on Wednesday, against Atlanta for half the game anyway. Last night, Vandeweghe goes all the way through, puts it up over McHale. He missed it. Kleine has the board. Under pressure, foul.
Vandeweghe really struggling. He's getting it in there, but I'll tell you, he's not blowing by people, you know, the way he normally does.
That's his second personal. The Knicks are over the limit.
Knicks over the limit here with 12 seconds left in the first quarter.
And for the Celtics, number
John
5,
Bagley in the ball game for Dennis Johnson. DJ leaves with a bucket.
11, Michael Smith is in. They replace
Michael Smith's in the ball game for Larry Bird. So Michael Smith, Kevin McHale, Joe Kleine up front, Bagley and Lewis in the backcourt right now. There's Joe Kleine, who was ecstatic here just before the ball game when the Arkansas Razorbacks advanced to the Final Four.
Yes.
In a real battle with Texas. And Tommy Pender's club goes down, but certainly surprised a lot of folks by reaching the Final 8 in the NCAA tournaments.
You know what, a lot of Connecticut fans have got to be proud of themselves, as well as disappointed the team lost, but boy, did they have a year.
I'll tell you, it took a last second. Here's Cheeks at the buzzer, and a foul call here. Let's see what happened.
The Celtics foul is charged to John Bagley.
Well,
that's his first personal.
Cheeks had to put it up, just spun around, ran into Bagley, and Bagley got called, so Maurice will shoot 2 with time expired here in the first quarter. Celtics have come all the way back from down by 10 to lead by 5, now 4 as Cheeks hit the first of 2.
Cheeks, the veteran guard, who they finally made a decision to turn Sticklin away for.
At the end of 1, Boston has bounced back to lead by 3 over the Knicks, and we'll be back to New York with more on the WLVI Celtics Network. Back in New York, second quarter just under.
That was Michael Smith. Celtics lead 36-31.
Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy back here at Madison Square Garden, just underway, second quarter, and the Celtics have taken a 5-point lead on a bucket by Michael Smith, and Joe Kleine just called for holding on Patrick Ewing. Celtics had a good first quarter, fell behind by 10, but bounced back in fine fashion to lead by 5. Ewing inside, over Kleine, a foul, and it goes.
I'll tell you, Patrick's been doing it all so far, literally carrying the Knickerbockers with his work on both backboards. Has been effective, but his offense has been varied, and I don't know that he's missed a shot. It doesn't seem like he has.
It's amazing.
He's got 14 points.
7 feet, 240 pounds. He's moving like a guard out there. This ball knocked loose, and it will be, although it looked like Kiki Vandeweghe knocked it out of bounds, it'll be Knicks' ball.
The Knicks are lethargic. They came out with a spurt defensively, which lasted 5 or 6 minutes, got them a good lead. But when the Celtics battled back, why, they went into this funk, I guess, that they've all been referring to.
Here's Ewing again. This time he banks it in. He looks like he can do anything he wants right now.
Well, see, he knows he can take Kleine to the basket now. He can't get away with that against Parish, the taller man with a good reach. But he'll continue to take it in strong while Joe Kleine's in the game.
McHale goes over Ewing this time, but Patrick gave him some grief out there, and McHale misses the shot. The 1-point Celtic lead. Tucker in the ball game with Cheeks in the backcourt. Ewing in the middle, Vandeweghe up front with Eddie Lee Wilkins. Here's Vandeweghe. Pulls back, pops over Michael Smith. Has 4, and the Knicks have the lead back by 1.
He's going to try to draw Smith out. I'm not sure that Smith shouldn't be reluctant to. Nice entry pass by McHale. Picks up the double, immediately looks weak side. Bagley with a good job finding that open spot.
That's a nice feeling to get an open layup with Patrick Ewing on the floor. Ewing, again, they clear it for him. Wants to go on Kleine, who knocked it loose, and it is Knicks' ball. 11 seconds on the 24-second shot clock into the ball game.
23,
Brian Quinnett out of Washington State, the rookie, their draft pick for Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Second round pick. He was the 50th pick in the country.
Here's Tucker now with the Celtics leading by 1. 10-10 remaining second quarter. Ewing wants to go over Kleine. Jumper.
Well, you know.
Wow.
Celtics simply send help down there.
Help.
You know, let the other guys beat you. Don't let Patrick do it easily.
McHale stripped. Here comes Cheeks. It's 4-on-2. He'll take it all the way himself. Lay it up. Missed the shot. But a foul called.
Cheeks was waiting for the lane to develop on his right side, but he had about a 3-step lead. Watch this, so he couldn't afford to wait. Here it is. Kevin puts it to the ground in the paint, where you've got a lot of little guys with the quick hands. He decides when he gets to the top of the key to take it in himself. I don't know who was running the lane. I think it was Tucker was too far behind him. Cheeks, you can be sure, is going to make the right decision when he gets it to the top of the key.
Maurice Cheeks now with 4 points, all from the foul line. They go full court pressure. Here's Bagley. Celtics down by 3. Bounces to Lewis. Back to Bags. Across the timeline on a deflection. Back to Bagley again. Now Lewis. 18-foot. Yes.
Reggie with 14, so he's just about matching Patrick. A little different assortment.
Cheeks gets the jumper. Nails it. I'll tell you, this guy has tremendous court sense. He realized that Bagley was off balance off that pick and immediately went to the jumper.
He'll never force. He just takes what you're willing to give him.
Whoa, Ewing ripped it off the iron. Close to a goaltend call. And here's Cheeks. Celtics down by 3 now. 9-10 left. Second quarter. Tucker. Ewing wants to go on Kleine again. What a clinic he is putting on for offense and the pivot. He's got 20 points in the first half.
Of course, they've got 2 shooting guards in there, Tucker and Cheeks, so they've got to be a little careful who they drop down on Ewing, but they've got to drop someone down pretty soon.
Reggie misses this one. McHale on the offensive board, and he knocked it out of bounds. So Bird gets set to check back in.
Number 33, Larry Bird is back in.
He had 6 in the first quarter. Michael Smith sits down. Smith chipped in with 2. The Celtics trail 45-40. Been outscored 14-6 here in the opening moments of the second quarter. Vandeweghe and Bird matching up now. Ewing wants to go again. This time goes baseline and missed the shot.
Well, they'll probably take him out.
Oh, man, he must be tired. Bagley running it up now. Stops in the lane, popped it, missed it. And Knicks doing a good job on the defensive board.
Yeah, they haven't given the Celtics many second opportunities, if any at all.
Knicks with a 5-point lead. 8-10 remaining second quarter. Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy here at Madison Square Garden in New York. As Ewing goes over Kleine again.
Well, the difficulty, Michael, as we well know, when you let a scorer who's having the kind of year Patrick is get started early, you know, you're opening the door for him to have the 40-point night. Probably. Now, I was going to say it looked like an illegal defense call.
Brian Quinnett calls for the personal. First team foul on the Knicks. Robert Parish checking in. Here's a look at Ewing on the baseline. Tell you what, he's got them all. He's got all the moves, and they're all working. Stuart Gray gets set to check in right now. 6th-year player out of UCLA. Came from Charlotte. He replaces Quinnett. Celtics down by 7, and they've hit a cold spell right here. Down it goes to McHale. Double team with Cheeks. Cutter, Bagley. Hands to Parish beautifully.
Nice job. Celtics have always faced that three-man out well, but again, as everything's falling together for them, they're even doing a better job. They seem to have more poise than they had at any time during the year.
Tucker, long range, not this time, and the loose ball out to Bagley. Couldn't find Bird in time.
Tucker, good job with the pursuit. Bird down there, pretty clean under the basket.
Baggs saw him, but a split second too late, and that gave Tucker the opportunity to deflect it out of bounds. 47-42, New York by 5. 7:15 remaining in the half. Here's Bird. Wants the shot over Vandeweghe. No. But Bagley got the rebound. Handed it to McHale. Over Tucker. Miss. Ewing sets up shop again. This time he'll take a jumper from 17. Not this time. That's it, Coos. Give him the jump shot.
Well,
straight up.
Again, you know, see, against Kleine, he put it to the floor and took it to the basket. With Robert, gives him a little 15-footer. He'll take it, but...
Oh, good defense by Ewing.
That's his best shot.
Celtics may have caught a break that time. It looked like it bounced off Robert's leg. But they will have possession when we return after this timeout from Madison Square Garden on the WLBI Celtics Network. In the green and white when they set sail from Miami on the luxurious sovereign of the seas. This year's cruise departs on August 25th for 7 sun-filled days. To join the Celtics, call Four Seasons Travel at 617-890-7930.
The Knicks on a 16-8 run get their 5-point lead back. They're shooting it at 78% in this quarter.
Steal by Tucker. Here comes Cheeks and Reggie Lewis. Good hustle. Knocked it away.
Nice job. Reggie hung tough. Used those long arms. Was able to flick it away from Cheeks. Not too many people catch Maurice from behind as your turnovers. Celtics doing a better job in that department, too. We well know how turnovers have plagued them all year long. But,
and a 5-second violation on the Knicks. Celtics good defense on the inbounds, and they take it back.
That's got to frustrate a coach, Stu Jackson.
33 years old, first year, worked under Patino, and Cheeks nearly got it back again as both teams got a little sloppy here. Ed Pinckney in the ballgame for the Celtics now with Bird and Parish up front, Lewis and Bagley in the backcourt. 6:23 remaining here in the first half. Kevin Gamble will see his first action for Reggie Lewis. Boy, Lewis has had a whale of a ball game so far. 13 points unofficially.
Number 34, Kevin Gamble, replaces Reggie Lewis.
Here's Bird off the pick. Ewing on him. They go to Robert Parish for the rainbow jumper and a bucket.
Knicks lead 47-44.
Little low pick and roll with Parish. Works just about every time. Bird creates so much attention. And the defense always falls off anyone who's setting the picks.
There's Ewing, wants to go on Parish. That time he banked it in. They're running out of room here on the scorecard for Patrick Ewing. He's got 24. Ahead of the field, Pinckney's fouled. Kenny Walker got all of them on that one.
Charge to Kenny Walker. That's his third and the second team foul.
Here's a look at Ewing's last move. This is about the 14th different move we've seen.
Yeah, Robert waiting for him to go middle, trying to force him outside. Patrick obliged. The problem is he took a long drop step, which wedged him by Parish with a little backcourt jump.
It looks to me, Coos, like there isn't a spot on the court that you can make Patrick go to where he's not comfortable right now.
If he's utilizing, yeah, exactly, you know, the entire painted area. In other words, if he's pretty much taking what you give him. You know, if you take away the middle, he goes outside. If you start playing him outside, he wheels it in the middle, and left-handed and right-handed.
It's a 3-point Knicks lead. 5:35 left here in the first half. Celtics led by 6 at one point. The Knicks by 10. Now they have the lead back. Here's Quinnett. Wilkins tries to go over Gamble. Cannot. 5 on the shot clock. Now it's Ewing's chance. Pass Parish. Left-handed scoop. I want to tell you, you have seen every move you can make on a basketball court, it seems like, from a 7-footer tonight. Pinckney back outside to Bird. They go back to Pinckney. Corner jumper. In and out. And a rebound by Cheeks.
Hey, other than Patrick, the Knicks are not playing an inspired game. The Celtics have one here to take home if they decide to give whoever it is a little help.
Wilkins goes outside to Quinnett, who misses, and Bird has the rebound. He's looking ahead of the field to Bagley, but it's tipped away.
Celtics, Knicks got back well that time and had their eye on the kind of lazy Bird pass all the way.
They'll set it up. Gerald Wilkins working on Eddie Pinckney. Wants to take him baseline. Hands it back to Ewing. This time he throws it up from 20 feet. Right now it looks like the entire Knick offense is revolving around Ewing, which isn't bad, but it can get you in trouble if you play 48 minutes like that. Gamble wants to go inside. He's double teamed. Now Bagley has it. Bounces to Gamble, and the Knicks are throwing up a solid defense right now. Robert wants to go. Trips. Falls out of bounds.
Well, okay, the Knicks didn't do a lot to create that turnover. The Celtics kind of do it all by themselves because they had a mismatch on the right side that they were trying to take advantage of, the Celtics, but they never got the opportunity to.
Chris Ford trying to plead his case to the referee. Patrick Ewing was hammering on Robert Parish. 22nd timeout. We'll be back to New York in just a moment. Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy back here at Madison Square Garden. Maurice Cheeks, Charles Oakley with the cast on his left hand. Chris Ford talking it over with the Boston Celtics, who have had their problems stopping Patrick Ewing. 26 of the 51 Knicks points coming from Ewing right now. And look at the turnovers, 4-1. Here's Ewing.
Yeah. Parish trying to force Patrick outside. He's giving him plenty of room, but Ewing's still able to put it to the floor and create almost a dunk for himself.
One-on-one, he is unstoppable at this point. Here's Mark Jackson and Bagley.
Of course, between those long steps he takes and that reach of his, you know.
Newman wants to go on Pinckney. He hooks it high and in.
Newman, who's been quiet tonight, averaging 14. That was his first hoop. He had a free throw in the first quarter.
53-46. The Knicks lead is up to 7. Their biggest was 10 at 25-15. Bird off the pick. He throws the jumper up and nails it. Boy, Bird flashed out there quickly that time. Coos left his man wondering where he went.
Well, that was Newman. Bird likes to answer. Newman had just scored on him. I hope this kid's a shooter.
Quinnett with a bomb. Tries to foul it. Bird has the rebound. Pushing to Bagley now. The center of the court wants to go all the way. Hands it to Gamble. Corner jump. Not this time. Pinckney way up high and a good work. Inside to Parish for 2.
Nice job by Ed Pinckney keeping it alive. As we told you, Celtics have not had too many second opportunities tonight. Patrick just dominating the defensive board. Knickerbockers going outside.
Home run for Newman. And it's 56-50. Bagley.
Watch for Bird to answer.
Pinckney went out of bounds and came back to catch the pass from Bagley. And that'll turn it over to New York. And there's a timeout by the Celtics. 2:45 left, first half. We'll be back to New York with more after this on the WLBI Celtics Network.
And it's Pinckney.
Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy back here in New York. There's Charles Oakley, and without him in the lineup, Coos, certainly the Knicks are missing a little bit of a physical presence and maybe even a psychological edge in a way, because he's such an aggressive type player.
Oh, he is. He's an intimidator. Newman from outside. Yeah, it should allow the Celtics to better establish the tempo that they want in the game. You know, Knicks want to up-tempo with the game, but without Oakley in there, Parish.
Well, Ewing got away with one that time, as Robert Parish has had a good first half, 12 points for him.
Without Oakley in there, they shouldn't be able to run the transition they want. Knicks just gone outside completely now. Maybe they figure Patrick scored.
Hanging in the air. Oh, that was beautiful by Patrick Ewing.
Looked like a bit of Spud Webb imitation there. The other thing that Oakley being out provides for the Celtics is it makes Kevin's life a lot easier, I'm sure. As we said, they don't really have anyone to do any kind of a job.
Good hustle by Ryan
Quinnett. And a little leftover offense from last year, the Knicks now just going for those long outside bombs. They're not a bad three-point shooting team, 32%, but when you've got a guy doing the kind of damage Ewing is, you don't want to start focusing on that outside shot.
Celtics working the perimeter now. 10 seconds on the shot clock. They go to McHale over Johnny Newman. In and out. Bird on the board, though. Bird snuck in on the weak side for the bucket. The Celtics are back within 4. Well, Oakley is to the Knicks team, I think, what Rick Mahorn is to the Sixers team, that enforcer, the guy that says, you can't push us around tonight. So the Knicks will have to figure out a way to replace him, at least for the next 6 weeks. Ewing, baseline jumper. Oh, that's tough. This time he couldn't get it to go down, and Bird leads Gamble. Takes it down the lane, over Ewing. Great move.
Excellent finish by Kevin Gamble, avoiding the Ewing defense.
Bird cuts Newman off on the baseline, and say with the ball going down to Ewing so much, Larry's life is a little bit a little easier too, because Newman doesn't take it into him as often.
Celtics with 3 team fouls. This will be the 4th, although Ewing stepped to the line as if he was in the act of shooting. Let's see if they give him the 2.
That's his second and Boston's first team foul in the last 2 minutes.
First in the last 2 minutes for the Celtics. The second on Parish. Well, they're going to give Patrick a couple of free throws here.
Yeah, evidently they moved with a shooting foul. I'll tell you, I can see now the problems the Knickerbockers are having. Their defense is not only uninspired, but the half-court offense, they simply don't have the personnel to run an effective half-court offense other than what Patrick is doing and providing. Other than that, they just stand around the perimeter and take the long bombs.
Well, so far in the first half, it's been effective. They have now 60 points. It's been mostly Patrick Ewing, and the lead is 4 as we're down to the final 40 seconds here of the first half at Madison Square Garden.
And Patrick, having a big night, just, I think, reached his average of 28 points in the first half.
Here's Dennis with the ball now. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bird looking for some help. Jackson strips him. Bird got it back. Goes down to Dennis. Has to put it up quick here. Gamble does. In and out.
Good job defensively that time by the Knickerbockers, and the Celtics just fell a little bit asleep in watching the time clock. Now they'll run it out for 1. They're down to 9.
And guess who it'll go to? Let's see. Jackson working on Dennis. Takes it all the way. Laid it up. Missed it. Tipped in by Ewing. Bird launches it at the buzzer. It's short. Patrick Ewing's tip and a huge first half by the big guy have given the Knicks a 6-point bulge. We're at halftime, and we'll be back for halftime activities after these messages on the WLVI Celtics Network. Fourth quarter shootout. All you have to do to win a color TV and a Celtics jacket is to pick the Celtics player who you think will score first in the fourth quarter. To enter, send your name, address, telephone number, and the name of the player you think will score first in the fourth quarter to Miller Lite. Channel 56, fourth quarter shootout, P.O. Box 56, Boston, Mass. 02125. And keep watching Channel 56 to see if you win. We're at halftime where the Knicks lead at 62-56. Or I should say the Celtics lead Patrick Ewing 52-32. So the Celtics have a 20-point lead over Ewing, but not over the Knicks.
I'll tell you what, Michael, Celtics haven't played badly as a team. You know, much better production. And Patrick's been a one-man gang. Other than that, the Knickerbockers haven't had that much help. If you've just seen basketball for the first time in your life, you can figure out what has to be done in the second half. They have to send whoever is guarding Patrick a lot of help, a lot of doubling down, force him to give the ball away. There's your shooting percentages. As you can see, Celtics out shooting the Knicks, out rebounding them. They've done a good job. The Celtics should have the lead if it wasn't for Patrick.
Well, Ewing has led this team a bundle of times, 51 different times in terms of points. He has scored 44 twice this year, and we take a look at the leading scorers. He's also been over 40 on 8 different occasions. And, there's the scoring, and obviously not much balance. Ewing with 32. 6 for 3 other people. The Celtics had some decent scoring from Bird with 10, and Lewis had a good first half of 14. Robert Parish had 12.
Well, everyone contributed. So McHale had 8 in the first quarter. Everyone that came off the bench scored just about. Yeah, as a matter of fact, everyone went on the board, and they had good, generally defensive intensity. Backboards weren't there. I mean, everything fit into place except Patrick. He didn't cooperate at all.
Reminds us of Wilt Chamberlain. All right, we'll be back with more halftime activities here in New York after these messages on the WLVI Celtics Network. New York, and we're going to take a look at an interesting set of statistics. Take a look at the top 10 NBA contenders in the league and just see how they fare against each other. I don't know, Kuz, if this is a fair way to assess whether any of these teams are going to do well in the playoffs or not, but it's an interesting look at who does well against the other top 10.
Well, it obviously indicates a trend, Michael. It isn't, numbers that you want to take to the bank with once the playoff begins, although those two top teams, Lakers and Pistons, the bottom line is that they probably are going to be the one that finish in the finals this year, let's face it. But the veteran teams have a way of picking up their intensity level and sustaining it longer when the playoffs begin. So what happens during the year, as I say, establishes a trend, but doesn't tell you a lot. And obviously timing, as to when they played each other. Right. Injuries during the season play a large role, as they will, obviously, for the playoffs as well.
We're going to take a look at some of the key injuries right now with some of the top teams. Philadelphia's Rick Mahorn, who was back in action earlier this week, has been having elbow and back problems all year long. Now, should he go down, that would really hurt the Philadelphia inside offense and defense. And Phoenix Hornacek, you have to like what he gives them in terms of motion in their offense. And, of course, Oakley here in New York.
Yeah, of those injuries, Mahorn, since Philadelphia's playing so well and right now is being projected to win the Atlantic Division, I would think his injury is more critical, frankly, than Dudley's here in New York. Now that I've seen the rest of the cast, in my mind at least, we haven't seen the Knicks since December, I can see why they're not doing better, and I don't see them being that much of a threat for playoff. That's why if the Celtics can come out of here with a win, finish fourth, and draw New York in the first round with the home court advantage, it'll be a tremendous boost, I think, for the Seas.
The Celtics have beaten the Knicks 17 consecutive times at Boston Garden, so the Knicks have to be thinking about that, too, going into the second half of this ballgame. Every week on Weekend Scoreboard, we at Channel 56 highlight the McDonald's High School Player of the Week, and these boys and girls exemplify scholarship, leadership, and sportsmanship. And we salute Lauren Carson of Chelmsford High School, Tom Quinlan of Haverhill, Kirsten Whitkey of Beaver Country Day School, and Alex Berger of Beverly High School. Congratulations from all of them. Set to start the third quarter of action. Some impressive shooting statistics. Patrick Ewing, the most impressive, 15 of 20. Stu Jackson said we're going to get away a little bit from the trap and the up-tempo, and we're going to go to half court this season, and so far it's been effective tonight, at least for Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, the theory is very sound. You want to balance, obviously, your offense. You want the transition game, but you want to focus on the half court. That's what he was saying. Last year they didn't do that. But the implementation of that with the personnel that he has, is making it difficult to do, I think, this year.
Here's Mark Jackson, gets the contact, goes to Ewing for the jumper. Missed it. The rebound, Dennis Johnson. So the first miss in the half for Patrick Ewing, as we mentioned, 15 of 20 and 32 points already. Robert Parish had a fine first half. He was 6 for 6, did not miss a shot. Wants to go on Patrick, who cuts him off, and the ball is knocked loose. Here's Jackson. To Wilkins in the corner, open, miss. And the battle, McHale lost it, and Jackson rebounded it.
Jackson had a very quiet first half. Picks up his third hoop of the game. Doesn't seem to be playing with the kind of fire that we've seen him demonstrate in the past. So the response to the crowd, they've been booing him, as we've told you, obviously having an effect.
Dennis is open for the jumper. No, in and out. Here's Jackson with the rebound. The Knicks are up by 8. He's pushing it. Hands it off to Newman on the baseline. The reverse missed, but Walker snuck in. Reggie stole it.
Oh, Reggie's playing well. Walker exposed that ball just enough. Here's Bird.
Over Ewing, and it did not go. Larry maybe took off a little too soon. Jackson stops from 17, in and out, and Lewis and Walker. Dennis finally comes up with a loose ball.
I think the Celtics are going to be all right tonight, really. Just beating the Knickerbockers in too many areas for it. Not
Reggie cutting. He's open. Over Patrick Ewing bank.
How is Reggie Lewis?
Tell you what, Reggie Lewis is taking it to the hoop tonight. He was 6 of 11 in the first half, now has 16, an excellent outing for him so far.
The Knickerbocker defense continues to struggle. You know, it's not there with the level of intensity that's needed. And as a result, the Celtics are getting pretty much the shots they want.
Walker, a 20-footer. He now has 6. Dennis pushing it into the front court now. Holds it up, goes down to McHale. He's double-teamed, goes over Walker and missed it. Kevin does not have it together so far. He's been getting some shots, but they're not going down for him.
Celtics are running, you know, a little flat after that half they played last night. Let down a little bit in the second half, but just did a super job kind of blowing the game open early in the game.
Wilkins wants to go on Bird. He got away with a travel. Now Jackson guns it from way outside.
So Jackson's out there. He looks like he just doesn't care. And that brings the booze down, and I'll tell you, they're well-deserved. Jackson is not operating like a point guard who's supposed to be setting the, you know, the tenor for the rest of the team.
Patrick Ewing called a technical on Bird, and Bob Delaney answered the call.
Bird on the penetration tries to get it to Parish. He kicks the ball, which earns him a take. Bird is not feeling well tonight, not to make excuses for him, but he does have a heavy cold, and it's making him a little testy, and he doesn't quite have the spark that's associated with his play.
Bird will inbound to Dennis Johnson, and it's a 9-point New York lead. Bird has the jumper, puts it up, in and out, and a battle on the board, and the Knicks have it. Jackson hands it off to Wilkins, who was not looking for it. 8:40 left in the third quarter, and the Knicks with a 9-point lead. Ewing inside, hit by Parish, and a foul call. Celtics have got to figure out something for Patrick Ewing, because right now he has everything he wants.
I don't have any explanation for it. You know, he had 32 in the first half. All they've got to do is drop those people down. Jackson at the moment is any kind of outside threat whatsoever. So they can be dropping his man off, and if necessary, you know, Newman, or Wilkins, excuse me, has 6 points, but he doesn't present that kind of consistency from the perimeter, where you wouldn't be able to gamble off him as well.
And let's see here, it's a...
Someone stepped into the lane.
Larry Bird stepped in. So Ewing has hit for 33 and has given the Knicks a 10-point lead, and he'll get an extra chance. This time Bird nearly did the same thing. I think he faked Ewing out a little bit that time by leaning all the way in. Walker nearly stole it from Parish, who wants to put it up and hits it. Robert has been looking good from the field tonight. 7 of 7 for 14 points. Here's Jackson now on Dennis, who beats the pick. Newman just gunned it up and hit it.
Well, Bird's going to give Newman space until he really starts doing some damage. Up to now, he's got 9 points.
Oh, Ewing stepped in, picked it off. It's a battle for it. Reggie runs it down. Goes to Bird. Goes up high to Robert with a fake, a foul, and it won't count.
Well, let's see if they send Robert to the line. No, they're not going to. So it's only the first team foul. Yeah, there's Ewing, as he demonstrated in the first half. When they extend that defense, there's a force underneath. You can't lob any pass down floor because he's going to get to it. McHale was a little step away.
10 for McHale now. This is the 20th time this season the Celtics have played back-to-back ball games, and in the second night of those back-to-backs so far this season, they have an 11-8 record. Wilkins cutting, stopping, hitting. More motion now from the rest of the Knicks in this half court, and they go to full court pressure. Up high, Bird picks it up, and he's alone with Ewing. Bounces to Lewis, who lost it out of bounds.
No, I think it's off. They're saying it's off Wilkins. Good lead by Bird. Jerry just couldn't quite get the handle on it.
Bird in the corner for the jump, and it's short, but Parish battling Jackson, and Mark has the rebound. 3-on-4. Jackson goes all the way, lays it up and missed it. Ewing tried to slam the rebound down, and the foul called here on Johnny Newman.
The foul charge to Johnny Newman. His third and the team's second.
A 10-point New York lead as you look at Stu Jackson. Two years as an assistant to Rick Pitino. Came from the University of Oregon. The pass to McHale now as Jackson works on him.
Knicks go into a soft half-court press there.
That time the deflection by Jackson. He's running. He's got help. Hands it to Walker. Laid it up and in.
Good finish that time by Walker. Off the Jackson feed.
Full court pressure, and they're cutting down on the 24-second. There comes Ewing again. Nearly picked it off from Bird. To Reggie. Inside, hammered by Jackson.
Knicks getting much more active defensively, as you can notice, and much more physical.
And they have a 12-point lead. 6:25 left in the third. The Knicks have control. We'll be back to New York. In the green and white when they set sail from Miami on the luxurious Sovereign of the Seas. This year's cruise departs on August 25th for 7 sun-filled days. To join the Celtics, call Four Seasons Travel at 617-890-7930. Celtics back and down by 12 as they go to McHale in the double team. Now 9 turnovers for Boston, just 3 for the Knicks. In trouble now as McHale tries to work on Walker. Now goes inside, got the foul call, and it goes.
Kevin finds a way to extricate himself. He's getting to be like Bird in terms of handling the pressure, double or otherwise, with disdain. You see what I mean? He's just kind of standing around using his body effectively, waiting for the trap to come in or the opportunity to step or slide through the pressure to the basket. Good job. 4th team foul on the Knicks now.
And a good look that time for youngsters out there on how to use your body, how to use your back to keep your man just enough away from you to get a space to make your shot.
Well, it obviously helps to be almost 7 feet where you can look over the defense that's trying to harass you and then have that reach and the ability with his feet. Wilkins throws it away. That Kevin has. He's really added to his repertoire.
Bird corner jump fouled, and it does not go. Jackson on his elbow and got called for his 3rd personal.
Charge to Mark Jackson. That's his second.
That is the 5th team foul by the Knicks here in the 3rd quarter.
Celtics with only 1 team foul with almost 6 minutes left, so an opportunity to perhaps cut into this lead.
Bird's first free throw is good. He leads the NBA at 93%. Larry's upped his three-point shooting a bit to 30%. The team overall shooting 26%. Bird has both of them now with 12 points for him. Larry shot 5 of 8 in the first half. Self back within 7.
The Knicks have shot a couple of hundred free throws more than the Celtics in the same number of games, which must mean really Patrick. He's got to be going to the line.
Here he goes again as Robert Parish was in his shirt, knocked him backwards.
That may force Chris Ford to make a move. That Parish's 4th, I believe.
That's his 4th.
Ewing has 1 point in this 3rd quarter, 33 in the ball game. Robert has 14, and he'll have to take a seat with 4 personals here. 5:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, it isn't so much that the Celtics have dropped people down on Ewing as much as Robert's defensive pressure has picked up. Although in doing so, he's picked up a couple of quick fouls.
Ewing now 4 for 7 from the line. Has them both. Full court pressure. Lewis takes the inbounds. Hands to Dennis. Reggie across the timeline to Bird in the corner. Nearly had McHale. Didn't see him. Dennis throws long jumper up and hits it.
Bird is so good at picking out those free men when they extend the defense and go into any kind of a trap. He invariably finds the man with the best shooting opportunity.
They want Ewing again. They separate everybody from him. Now Dennis jumps down on him, but Jackson comes through and missed the layup. then strips McHale on the ground, and a jump ball.
I'll tell you, Jackson is psyched. He can't even hit dunk shots at this point. He really is thinking about it. And the way Cheeks is playing, or at least here it is, now this time they do trap with DJ. Jackson goes to the open spot underneath. Good feed, but the McHale pressure causes him to miss. Although he scrambles nicely to get back to it, but it may be a wasted effort with he and Kevin in on a jump.
They'll toss it up again. This time Ken Maher will reset him. Jackson gets to go against Kevin McHale one more time.
Kevin wants to go back with it.
Jackson controlled it, but Reggie Lewis picked it up. 76-69, New York. Less than 5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy here with you. Celtics have won 4 or 5 on the road recently. Bird stops, pops it, missed it. Joe Kleine keeps it alive. McHale had a shot at it, wouldn't go.
They've switched Kleine on to Lee Wilkins. No, now he's back on.
Kleine is throwing every bit of his 240 pounds. Jackson cutting over McHale. Missed this one. Bird got the board. Well, he cut where he was supposed to be, but couldn't finish it.
Well, he heard McHale's footsteps on the weak side that time.
Bird finds Kleine. Little jumper short. Loose ball. Reggie got it back. He missed it. Well, Ewing's an intimidator, and the Celtics get it back. Dennis goes all the way, left-handed.
Nice job.
It's 76-71.
This game has been starting and stopping, Kuz, the entire night. You just keep waiting for something big to happen.
It looks like neither team is fully committed, you know.
Wilkins misses. Bird on the board. Lewis got it.
Celtics playing with much more intensity right now than the Knickerbockers.
Hands to Bird and travel call. Larry was looking for Lewis. Couldn't set his pivot foot.
For New York, number 6, Trent Tucker, and number 1, Maurice Cheeks.
Bird battling the flu. He's nearly lost his voice. And a little weakness, I think, tonight from the chest cold.
Yeah, it's lucky it hasn't been that kind of an up-and-down type game because Bird's been able to hang in better, I think, with a slower tempo.
Newman isolated, wants to go on Bird. Good defense, got a piece of it. Dennis now, front court, hands to McHale, who wants to line up a 3. Yes! That ignites a New York crowd. McHale now with 8 in the quarter, 16 overall.
Kevin, who has climbed to the third best 2-point percentage in the league.
Dennis nearly knocked it off of Patrick Ewing. Celtics back within 2 with 3 minutes left. 2:59 to go in the third. We'll be back to New York with more after these messages on the WLVI Celtics Network. With Walt Perkins and Weekend Scoreboard here on WLVI 56. The Celtics are back within 2, and what a difference between the last time we were here in New York, where the Knicks administered one of the worst beatings that we have seen the Celtics absorb in a long, long time, beating them by 32 points. They were running and gunning and fired up, and now Knicks Coos look a little bit disorganized at times. Here is a long shot by Tucker, the miss, and Lee Wilkins will be called for a foul.
Yeah, they're playing tentatively. They're playing frightened without any assertion or any unity whatsoever. The only one who's demonstrative is Patrick. You know, he seems to know what he wants to do with the ball and his focus and the whole thing. The other guys literally look lost out there.
18,212 on hand. Sellout crowd, number 24 this season for the Knicks.
Now, the Celtics have a good opportunity here to pick up a win and what could be an insurmountable 2-game advantage over the Knicks the way they're playing.
McHale has tied it up at 76. I know you've said this, and you mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, the pregame show, Bruce. So with 15 games left, is that a little premature to say that?
Well, Except the Celtics are just playing their best basketball of the season. And I don't think there's any reason to feel, at this point, even though they've been inconsistent, as we've well noted here over the year, they seem to have found a certain balance at this point. The starters, as we said, are playing extremely well. They're more careful with the ball and not creating the turnovers. They're selecting better offense, and they're playing with better intensity defensively. They've got the kind of help defense behind that we saw during the exhibition series that was so effective. So, they're on an upper, and that's exactly the way you want to go into the playoffs.
Wilkins for the second of two missed it. Kleine working and got the rebound. The word from Washington tonight. At the half, the Bullets 63 and the Sixers 55. So that's good news so far for Celtics fans. Celtics trailing Philadelphia by a game and a half as we enter tonight's action. Bird fadeaway. No. Tucker with the board. Knicks by one as Cheeks sets it up. Doesn't have it. Back out to Vandeweghe. Now to Ewing they go. Cutting Cheeks. Celtics stepping in. A kick by Kevin McHale.
That time the weak side got over there a little quicker, so the opening to Cheeks, whose man doubled on Ewing, and the Celtics are doubling now every time it goes to Ewing, didn't show. What you've got to do is fake to that free man and swing the ball and find the next weak side man that'll be open.
Tucker and Lewis matching up. Kleine and Ewing, of course. They bounce it down to Patrick. McHale helps. Oh, what a pretty shot by Ewing.
He helps, but he's a little slow getting in there. His first hoop in the third quarter.
Double teamed on Lewis. Cross court to Dennis. Celtics down by 3 now. McHale gets loose. Tries to spin into Wilkins. Puts it up. Misses it. Eddie has the rebound, and Tucker bounces it out to Cheeks. A little out of control that time, Kevin McHale. The double coming on Ewing goes down to Wilkins, and a 3-second violation. The Celtics will get it.
Eddie Lee found himself open in the paint. You have a tendency to panic when you're 7 feet and no one's guarding you and you want to get everyone's attention.
Around the league, Orlando by 9 over the Bucks in Orlando, 56-47, and the Hawks, who came all the way back from 31 down, nearly to beat the Celtics last night, are trailing at home to Charlotte by 4 at halftime. 56-52. Reggie shot is short, and here's Wilkins ahead of the field. Now to Vandeweghe, over Bird.
Again, Cheeks leading the fast break.
He gave it to the right man, that's for sure.
He knows who the finishers are. Vandeweghe does it well.
You don't have as many assists in a career as that man without knowing who to get it to. Tucker, good help. Dennis lost it, and here's Cheeks. He'll give it to Ewing. Forget about it.
He wants to get the big guy involved, but if he isn't already completely involved.
7 points in the quarter for Ewing and 39 on the night.
I'll say that's too bad. The Celtics were knocking on the door. It looked like they were ready to take their first lead.
Bird off balance, puts it up and hits it.
Bird's first hoop in the quarter.
14 for Larry now. The Celtics are back within 5.
They'll run it down just about. There's about 8-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Cheeks now wants to set up Vandeweghe in the baseline. Lewis picks him up. And a foul called. The Celtics had one to waste.
Boston foul charged to Reggie Lewis. That's his first and Boston's first team foul in the last 2 minutes.
First in the last 2 minutes for the Celtics. Vandeweghe inbound. 11 seconds exactly remaining here in the third quarter.
And that gets them a new clock so they can run it down.
They go up high to Ewing. Back to Ewing again. Jump shot over Kleine. Hit it. And we have come to the end of the third quarter. Patrick Ewing again, with 41 points after 3, has the Knicks up by 7. We'll be back for the fourth quarter in just a moment. Another shootout. Tonight's entries from Christine Grimes, who lives in Somerville, Mass. Christine counting on Dennis Johnson to score first. Well, he can't score from there, Coos, so it's up to you. See if you can get a color TV and a Celtics jacket.
Well, I'll tell you, tough matchup on McHale. Patrick will be on him. Let's go with Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis has been hot so far tonight, 16 points so far. Ewing goes over McHale and hits that. 43 for Ewing. He's hit for 44 twice this season.
One away from his all-time. This season, that is. Reggie Lewis is a pick, and he's about to win a TV set.
Oh, it goes in and out. Lead is 9 for the Knicks as Cheeks holds it up now and sets the half court. Vandeweghe wants it. Now they go to Ewing on McHale. Over him, blocked.
That time Reggie was trying desperately to help. Just a step behind. Ewing making a quick move. What? He's trying to beat the double down. Goes into McHale. They call that on Lewis or McHale?
Kevin McHale, second of the ball game.
Patrick Ewing at the line. 2 shots.
First team foul on the Celtics.
Patrick ties his high for the year. I'll tell you what, if Patrick hadn't come to play tonight, Celtics would have had a nice, easy one. But
it's going to be a battle. They're going to have to slow him down. 11:21 remaining, plenty of time, but the Celtics trail by 10 right now, and Ewing has 45 points.
The problem is, a man like Patrick, with his talent level, can literally control a game by himself, or certainly a quarter, you know. Patrick obviously wants a victory very badly tonight.
Celtics getting some full court pressure. Michael Smith with the ball to Bagley. Goes by Walker, takes it all the way in back to McHale. Now Reggie has it. Goes over Ewing and got the roll.
Yes.
And there you go. Christine Grimes of Somerville, Mass. A color TV and a Celtics jacket, courtesy of Miller Lite and Channel 56. Congratulations.
And
courtesy of Reggie Lewis. And courtesy of Bob Cousy, who made the right pick. Here's Ewing again. Missed it this time, and on the boards, McHale has it. So Kevin's trying a couple of different strategies here to throw Ewing off, and that time it worked. Bird hands it to McHale, who wants to go on. Ewing does, but Patrick got it away from him. Knocked it loose, but got called for the foul.
I'll tell you, the word is out on Kevin, and what a threat he has from 3 points. You see him start to get it up there, and Ewing came charging out. He wasn't going to give it to him.
McHale has moved into the third overall shooting percentage slot for 3-point field goals at this point. He needs a few more. Bird now puts up a 3. Hit it!
Yes.
3 points for Larry Bird.
17 for Bird. He has a trifecta, and it's a 6-point game. Cheeks now in control. Back outside to Vandeweghe. Goes by Michael Smith. Hook shot. Miss. McHale with a board. Kevin got wrapped by Walker there. Bird was going to shoot another 3. Now he holds it up. Turns around. Puts up a shot that bangs off the iron.
Well, he had the mismatch with Cheeks, but he wanted to try to take advantage of it, so he just leaned into that backboard shot.
Tried to get some contact. Could not get enough. Tucker wants to go. Reggie Lewis ties him up, but he's called for the foul.
Reggie's played some pretty tough defense tonight. That time he got caught grabbing a little bit, but
his second and the team's second.
he's been right in there tight on the ball whenever he's had the opportunity.
Michael Smith has a tough assignment with Vandeweghe. Double team on Ewing. Tries to go through it. And a foul called. Let's see what we have here.
Ewing just bulling his way into McHale, trying to take advantage of his...
Are they going to send him to the line for this one? Let's see.
That's his third and the team's third.
The third on McHale.
Third team foul on the Celtics. Kevin says, what about the ball? If you get your hand on the ball, doesn't that count?
Patrick's been to the line 10 times now tonight. 8 for 10.
46 for Ewing. 17 rebounds and a new career high for the big man. Second of 2 is up. And not this time. Whoa, he got the roll.
You think things are going...
He got all of the roll. He got every roll he needed.
When you've got the hot hand, you get the bounty.
Reggie, corner jump shot, knocks it down. Lewis has been sensational tonight, 20 for him. But when a guy's having a night like Ewing, it kind of overshadows just about everything else going on. Loose ball, Patrick lost it.
For New York, number 45, Lee Wilkins replaces Patrick Ewing.
Well, that's the key for Stu Jackson. He finally has to say Patrick is a little bit fatigued, and it's time to get him out of there.
I'll tell you, Celtics with an opportunity here to climb right back in.
Bird goes down to McHale, trying to force his way in on Wilkins. A couple of fakes. Up, he's hit, and he nails it.
Yes, Kevin. Nice job immediately exploiting Lee Wilkins.
Gritty performance tonight by McHale. He's taking a beating, and here's another look.
There it is, two big guys beating on each other until, again, that drop step by McHale creates an opening in the basket.
Kevin's still shaking his head. And he is paying the price tonight so far, no question about that. Has the free throw and a three-point play and 21 points. Celtics within 3. 9 minutes left. Here's Cheeks, top of the key jumper, in and out, and McHale tips the rebound to Michael Smith.
Celtics are going to get themselves a lead in the next time or two down.
McHale wanted it outside. Bagley wants to set something down low for Bird. Here's Vandeweghe. He's trying to work on Bird, forcing it down. Turnaround jumper. No. On the board, McHale. Back over Wilkins for 2. Kevin. 23. Knicks up by 1. And a timeout call. Celtics have battled back again. 8:24 remaining here in New York, and we'll be back with more on the WLBI Celtics Network. Susie, 8:20 remaining in the ball game. The Knicks lead has been sliced to 1. Patrick Ewing back in the game immediately for Stu Jackson. He's been phenomenal tonight, carried the Knicks. Here's Vandeweghe slicing inside over McHale. Missed the shot, and Bird has the rebound.
They got it in there. Vandeweghe couldn't finish. Celtics on a 12-2 run, shooting at a 63% for the quarter.
Celtics come out with Lewis and Bagley in the backcourt. Bird, McHale, Michael Smith up front. Bird fade away this time. No. Tapped up, loose. Walker has the board. He posted up Vandeweghe, but a good job defensively by Kiki, and Bird's shot was short. Tucker throws up a runner. McHale got hit here. A loose ball foul. Let's see where it goes.
I'm not sure. It's not going to be on McHale.
Walker charged in on the weak side and hit Kevin.
His fourth.
I'd like to see that one again. I don't know how that's Kevin's
He
fault.
doesn't agree. Let's take a look. Tucker with a lean-in jumper. It looked like Walker created a contact.
Ewing, good defense by McHale, and an offensive on Ewing. Well, he used his left arm that time, and Bob Delaney said, no, that's an offensive.
Yeah, they weren't about to go 2 questionable calls in a row against the Celtics.
Kevin has been about the most effective defender on Ewing. Here's Bird in trouble. Patrick all over him. Has to give it up. Ewing jumping all the way out away from the hoop. Smith hands it to McHale. Lost it. Reggie got fouled.
Good job by Reggie. Errant pass on the little pick and roll. Got away from everyone. Was loose in the paint. Lewis responded to it.
Boy, this is a mess of trouble to begin, isn't it?
Look at that reach.
Man.
Okay, even Bird is having difficulty. Normally, he just looks over the pressure.
He gives it up and goes backwards. He says, I'm out of here.
For New York, number 4, Johnny Newman is back in, replacing Kiki Vandeweghe.
Newman back in for Vandeweghe, who really didn't get a lot accomplished tonight. Ended up with 6 points, but wasn't much of a factor. Lewis hit 2 from the line.
Celtics have the lead now, 92-91 with 7:10 remaining.
Well, Cheeks finishes that little pass back from Ewing on the trap down, a little better than Jackson did.
Michael Smith in trouble. Can't get it off. Goes to McHale, who hits it.
Good job by Smith keeping his cool there when nothing developed and found a free man.
25 for Kevin now. Celtics back up by 1. Ewing to Cutting Cheeks, who tried to hand it off to Walker. Maybe should have shot that one.
That time Bird was waiting for it.
Celtics by 1. Bird wants to gun it up, does not. Now goes to Reggie. Posting up on Tucker. Excellent defense. Loose ball. Reggie got it back. Falls hard. Bird gives it up to Michael Smith, who hits it.
Celtics starting to take control.
4 for Smith, and an excellent give up that time by Larry Bird. He could have shot it. He saw Smith open, gave it to him. A lot of shoving going on right now. A lot of heavy elbow work. They're falling back on Ewing. He's in the lane for about 7 seconds. Hooks it and hits it. 49 for Ewing.
The guy keeps getting it done.
Can I have your calculator for a second? 49 points for Ewing. Timeout. 5:42 left. Both teams want this one badly. You can feel it. And we'll be back to New York for more after these messages. And singer Tom Jones drop in on Arsenio Hall's Weekend Jam on WLVI 56. I wonder what those two are going to be talking about together.
Tough matchup, right?
Here's a look at the shooting percentages. They're down in the second half, but the defense has picked up. Tucker reaches in over Lewis and gets caught.
And that'll be the 4th team foul on the Knicks. Both teams at the limit now.
Knicks have 3 timeouts remaining and a 20. The Celtics have 3 and a 20. 5:30 left to play. Reggie wants to post up on Tucker now. Tries to go by him. Into the lane, and he is hit. Tucker with a push.
Tucker picks up 2 quick ones. Celtics obviously feel they have an advantage with that matchup. Looking to post Reggie up.
Right now, Gerald Wilkins and Mark Jackson are odd men out in this lineup for the Knicks, as Reggie's had a fine night. 23 points, and Cruz, he's been doing a much better job on the offensive boards, too, using his leaping ability to get some extra balls. There's Michael Smith nearly picked it off. Celts by 3, 5:20 remaining here in New York. Knicks are in 3rd in the Atlantic, 2.5 back of Philly. Celtics are a game and a half behind Philly. Sixers having some problems with Washington tonight in Washington. Here's Patrick inside, a foul called.
And if it's on McHale,
it's Reggie Lewis, I think, reaching in.
They're using the quickest player they have out there to drop down. But if he's caught on the wrong end of the floor when the ball goes into Ewing, he has a further distance to travel, and sometimes he can't get down there quickly enough, and that's what will cause the foul.
50 of the Knicks' 96 points from that man, Patrick Ewing. He's been over 30 points in his last 7 games.
Full court defensive pressure by the Knicks.
Beat the press to Michael Smith, who's in the ball game here down the stretch. We're under 5 minutes, and Celtics lead by 1. Wilkins back in to pressure Lewis. Here's Newman. Shoving Bird. Wants to move in on Newman. Puts it up over him. Missed the shot. The rebound. Walker. Oh. Fell over. Maintained control. Now Newman on Bird.
They're really not doing much but going into Patrick.
He's in there about 6 seconds. The strip that time by the Celtics. Handed to Lewis. Running ahead of the field. Tries to go over Cheeks, and he is fouled.
Good job, Lewis, getting it down there quickly and in a position. What's the problem when you're depending on a one-man offense? You know, now the defense is starting to key on Patrick, despite the fact that he's already got his 50. McHale reaches in. Lewis is down there. You know, they're suffocating him quickly. And the big guy also is becoming predictable in that he is going to the basket every time. He's no longer trying to hit three.
Well, you wonder when fatigue is going to set in for him, Coos. I mean, he must have shot the ball 35 times tonight. At some point, one of your shots is probably the least likely or the least comfortable for you to take. Maybe the fadeaway. He seems to be getting away from that and trying to go right down for the hook and the draw of the foul. Reggie has both of his free throws. Reggie's been perfect, 6 for 6 from the line in the fourth quarter. The Celtics lead by 3. Parish back in the ball game now. He'll work on Ewing. Off the pick, here's Newman. Aired it up. Oh, loose. Ewing got it. Stripped by Bagley, and Lewis has it.
Good job. Again, they move in on the big guy and catch him by surprise.
Bagley right up the gut. Hands it to Parish. Beautifully for the layup. 16 for Parish. Celtics by 5.
Parish now 8 for 8 from the field.
The Knicks need a timeout. They call it. And we'll take a timeout here in New York. The Celtics by 5 with 3:50 remaining. Back with more in a moment on the WLVI Celtics Network. I'll introduce you. Back in New York, Celtics leading by 5, 102-97. And good news right now from Washington.
Yes, Celtics could help themselves against both Philadelphia and Washington. Philly losing in Washington. Orlando doing it to Milwaukee. Atlanta with a 2-point lead over Charlotte.
To John Bagley.
All in the fourth quarter.
That's his second personal, and the Celtics are over the limit.
Celtics over the limit right now as Bagley commits the foul, and Wilkins will go to the line.
Gerald Wilkins at the line.
From Moscow, Cleveland, beating up on poor, hapless New Jersey. Wow.
Wilkins to the line now to shoot it. Has the first. 9 points for Wilkins. We talked about Ewing's big night. He has 51. His previous career high was 45, which he had twice against the Bullets in Charlotte. Only 3 other Knicks ever have gone over 50 points. One of your old nemesis, Richie Guerin, Lewis Reed, and now Ewing.
I think he got that against me in the first quarter one night.
3 points. 3 points Celtic lead. 102-99. Bird lines it up for 3. No. McHale battling. Walker out-hustled him, but knocked it out of bounds.
Bird gets it back. That would have been a game clincher as far as Bird was concerned. He wanted it.
He's still shaking his head over there because he was left alone, and he wanted it badly, but it didn't go down. Bird sets up down low on Newman. Down low, and it's knocked loose by Newman. Good defense. Cheeks running it through Bagley. Got called for the foul. Probably a good foul that time by Baggs.
Tough break there. They had Bird isolated on Newman, which is what they wanted inside. Take a look. Here it is. They clear the side. McHale pass it in. Good hands on the part of
Maurice Cheeks at the line.
Newman.
You notice the right hand of Newman that time just gave Bird a little tug, pulled him away from the ball, and Cheeks misses the free throw.
Big miss.
8 points for Mo Cheeks, 12th year out of West Texas, averaging 10 points, 5 assists since coming over to the Knicks. Second of 2, he's got that one. And we have a 2-point ball game, full court pressure. Bird now across the timeline. Hands to McHale, back to Bird. 3:10 left, McHale over Walker, yes!
Celtics have a lot of targets to go to. A lot of people they can isolate. The Bird-Newman matchup, the McHale-Walker matchup, without involving Ewing or Parish.
Ewing now shoved out to the outside. They finally get it to him along the sideline, and Robert Parish really working on him. Runner, no. Found by the Chief.
Knicks starting to fall apart now.
104-100 Celtics.
That's the difficulty in depending on one-man offense.
Bird wants it, has it. Dumps it to McHale. With Ewing on him, he'll go right into him. Fakes him up, missed it, but Parish goes to the board. For the foul. South by 6, the entire bench is up. 2:20 left.
They know this will be a big win for them.
Cheeks wants to get it to Ewing. Can't do it. Has to throw the jumper up. Missed it. McHale rips the board down. Big rebound by Kevin McHale. Working towards 2 minutes remaining. Celts by 6. Trying to do something they have not done all year, and that is win 5 in a row. Bird says shoot it to McHale. Now he goes by Newman. Left-handed.
Yeah, they're putting it away now. Celtics simply have too many weapons to go to.
Bird and McHale high-fiving as the Celtics hit the bench with an 8-point lead and a $1:51 left. Back to New York for the final moments after these messages. Yeah. Mike Crispino and Bob Cousy back here at Madison Square Garden. 1:51 remaining, and Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Reggie Lewis have taken charge. Timeouts look like this. Celtics have 3 full, the Knicks with 2, and the Celtics have an extra 20 should they need it. They have an 8-point lead right now.
They're not going to blow this one. They've worked too hard for it, and for the most part have outplayed the...
Newman took it right to the hoop, and he got fouled. Well, they changed the strategy. Stopped dumping it to Ewing, went to Newman. He made it happen.
You can't become predictable on this level. And Patrick, with all his talent, despite the night he had, you know, he can do this virtually every night if they focus on him the way they have. But you need more than that to beat the good team.
All right, a 3-point play and a big one by Newman. 108-103 with 1:40 remaining. Bags bounces it to Reggie Lewis, and into the front court they come. Just a reminder to our viewers, if the Celtics score 100, and they already have, go to any participating Kentucky Fried Chicken tomorrow and order our delicious red hot wings. Mention channel 56, and as Lewis laid it up and in, a pretty pass from McHale.
Nice job.
The Colonel will throw in another bag of regular fries free.
Celtics spreading out the floor nicely now.
Newman has come alive with a 3. Celts in trouble. They just beat the 10-second, and Newman racks up Reggie Lewis on the run.
Charge to Johnny Newman. That's his 4th.
It's getting a little helter-skelter, but the Celtics are in control. The Knicks just don't have the personnel out there to take the ball away, despite having what seems like a speed and quickness advantage. The poise and passing ability of the Celtics is just not going to allow it to happen.
Lewis clunks one. That's his only his second miss of the night. He had been 6 of 6 in this quarter. 2 of 3 before that, so 8 of 9, and gets the second one. Big night for Reggie Lewis so far. 29 on the night. Here's Newman. Off balance hits it. He is doing it all right now.
Newman trying to keep it alive.
Under a minute remaining. 3-point lead for the Celtics.
There's not enough time left. Celtics are going to come out of here with a good, solid win.
They want to go down to Bird. Posted up on Walker, who's holding on to him. Now he's double teamed. Threw it away. Here comes Newman. A 3 could tie it. Wilkins wants it. Parish cut him off. Walker on the baseline. McHale blocked it. And a foul called on Ewing. And he is close to getting a technical. He really went after Kenny Mauer after that call.
That's his 5th.
5 on Ewing. A big block by McHale. Whew.
I tell you, Kevin has really risen to the occasion in the final minutes of a bunch of games. There it is. Walker just goes into a slow motion release, and Kevin McHale with a long reach takes full advantage of it.
Now Lewis will have 2 shots. 24 and 9/10 seconds remaining. It's far from over. 111-108. Celtics by 3. Reggie does not get the roll. Well, he's keeping the Knicks alive right now. Lewis's 30th point of the night.
New York.
There's a timeout, Knicks. And we'll be back for the final moments here in New York after these messages on the WLVI Celtics Network. Blocked by Kevin McHale moments ago. The Celtics with a 3-point lead at that point. Reggie Lewis made 1 of 2 for 30 points for him. Kevin has 27, Larry Bird with 19, and 18 from Robert Parish. The Celtics lead by 4 with 24 and 9/10 seconds remaining to be played.
And another good, solid team effort by just about everyone who played for the C's. Bird a little under the weather, but Reggie more than made up.
And a quick timeout by the Knicks. They could not get the ball in. And we will take it and come back to New York in just a moment with more on the WLVI Celtics Network. Benefit neurofibromatosis will be held on Monday, July 23rd at the International Golf Club in Bolton. If you'd like to join Casey and his friends for this great day of golf, 617-944-8414 for more information. No, Wilkins tried to slam it. Didn't get it to go, and the Celtics have the ball, and Newman has to foul.
And the game as well. What a win for the C's. They picked one up on both New York and Philadelphia.
Stu Jackson discouraged. He thought he should have got a foul call, but no. McHale just did a great job defensively.
Yeah, just took off a little too soon. Knicks going for the quick 2, which was the smart play. There wasn't much point going for the 3 when you're 4 down. They had to get it back one more time. That all becomes academic once he missed, and now with the Celtics going to the line.
Well, the Garden fans are beginning to hit the exits at this point. 19 seconds remaining as Dennis Johnson will shoot 2 here. DJ's been steady so far tonight. Now 7 points for him. He's been playing well over the past couple of weeks. Had 9 assists against Cleveland, 8 against Atlanta. Now he has 8 points. Look at the Celtics bench that is really fired up here. Realizing now they have a shot at first place in the very near future. Newman, long bomb. Missed it. Reggie way high for the rebound, and he is hacked. What a night for Reggie Lewis. 30 points, and I believe that's his 10th rebound. And Ewing fouls out after a monster effort. 51 points, a career high, and I'll tell you, that has got to be frustrating when you have a night like that and cannot come away with a victory.
Well, Patrick would give up every one of those 50 points if there was a W alongside the Knicks tonight, but that is not to be.
There were questions about this man's heart and his competitiveness when he first entered the NBA, but there is no doubt right now he will be one of the all-time greats when he finally hangs him up. A lot of folks in the Boston area had a chance to see him at Cambridge, Ringe, and Latin as Lewis knocks down the free throw. What a night for Reggie Lewis. Cheeks still nearly threw it away. Newman over Robert Parish for the bucket. He's had a good fourth quarter, Newman has, and the Celtics will hold on and win it. 115-110, handing the Knicks their 4th straight loss here at Madison Square Garden, and winning one for Chris Ford and for Jimmy Rogers, who is not with the team tonight. With the final score, Celtics 115, Knicks 110. We'll be back to New York to wrap it up, but now let's go to Joe Shortsleeve and Karen Marinella. Find out what you'll be seeing in tonight's news. Celtics have won their 5th straight for the first time this season and appear, Coos, to be peaking at just the right time. They won 7 of 8 now. They came in here knowing they had a good opportunity against a slumping club, and they did the job.
No, absolutely. Playing their best basketball of the season by far. Everyone contributing, the bench coming in and getting the job done, and really the regulars playing like the veteran, poised, unselfish team that they are. So Chris Ford especially has got to be happy. He can present Jimmy Rogers 3 nice W's when he gets back.
And something the Celtics have not had that much ease with this year, winning back-to-back. Difficult task.
Yeah, and tonight playing with Bird under the weather, you know, but as I say, someone's coming in to fill in the spots. Tonight it was Reggie Lewis. McHale with some big plays. The second half they weren't able to shut down Patrick, but they tapped down more effectively, made it a little tougher. It just wasn't enough help from his friends.
Well, he had 32 in the first half, 51 a career high, but it was not enough tonight as the Celtics come away with a 115-110 victory. And that'll do it for us here in New York. Be sure to join us next Tuesday night when the Celtics will be in Indiana to meet the Pacers. And starting time from Market Square Arena is 7:30. From my partner Bob Cousy, this is Mike Crispino saying goodbye from New York. And tonight's Celtics game on Channel 56, produced by Lou Schumann. Once again, our final score here in Madison Square Garden. Boston Celtics 115 and the New York Knicks 110. Stay tuned for the news at 10 coming up next on Channel 56. Good night, everybody. Win for the Celtics tonight. You've been rolling lately, but you haven't gotten into the hot streak that you need really to roll into the playoffs and get some momentum and go a long way in this thing.
Well, you know, as we have been doing in the past, I think this year we've been winning on the road. And I think it was important for us, especially to come in here and win against the Knicks, who we're in a race with in our division. So I think the guys was up for it. And even though it didn't look good for a while, you know, with Patrick hitting everything that he can throw up, but, you know, we was able to, you know, overcome that and hold on and come away with this victory.
One of the keys, quickly, is you handled their pressure pretty well tonight, and you were able to move the ball up and get some good shots, especially for Reggie Lewis tonight.
Well, that was the idea. You know, we felt that, you know, them trapping, we watched in the film, is after we broke that initial perimeter of their press, we was able to we can get in there and possibly get some easy shots for Robert and McHale and Reggie. And as we did late in the game, it started to come a little bit more, and I think we knew that we could get that.
You did it perfectly well tonight, John. Congratulations. That's the story here in New York. Walter, back to you. The final again, Celtics 115 and the Knicks 110. All right.